Namaste. This is Srilata Shankar in our Leadership Talk series in collaboration with My Startup TV. My guest today is Vijaya Annapurna. She's a global product manager. Vijaya, it's wonderful having you with us. Welcome to our Leadership Talk series.
Thank you, Srilata.
Vijaya, I understand you have done MBA Finance and now you're into product management and product development. So, can you please talk us through your journey?
After my graduation, and then I was exploring opportunity in terms of what should I do next, right? And in those days, MBA seems to be a right opportunity for me to pursue in studies. And then completed my masters, and then looking out for opportunities on what to do next in terms of career. We didn't have much of openings available for those who completed MBA Finance, and then in parallel, I was doing my course from NIT in computer sciences, so it kind of came handy, and I managed to secure my first job based out of Hyderabad.
Right.
So that's how the switch happened.
So there's a connection over there. I'm a student of NIT too.
Oh, okay. So we have something common to share then. So from there on, a switch, it's like option B, right? We need to have option Bs in life in case if you're not able to do how to go about it. So that kind of came handy. Then the journey with the IT industry continued.
What was your first job? Where was your first job?
It was Lanco Global Systems, right here in Srinagar Colony. I was there for about 2 years, and then later shifted to Bangalore. That's where I've been living for quite some time right now. And I spent about 10 years with Nokia there, and then went to Accenture into it, and then with Harman for about 6 years. Now I'm with a lighting company, Srilata. So it's more like why a shift happened, because immediately things did not work out, and my plan B that I should really take things further in the next interesting thing that I was pursuing that point of time. I think that kind of came handy. So this shift from finance to IT happened way
Right.
back, and it all happened in Hyderabad.
When you mentioned you working for Blanco and various other companies, Nokia as well, did you work on the core software development or what was your role?
Yes, I did. These are all the software companies. Having completed a course from NIT, it came handy, like I said. So it's a proper core software development activities that I was involved in. So I started as a developer, then I went on to become a project manager and a program manager, full-time program manager with Nokia, running major programs for them based out of Bangalore. And then it's all in the software side itself, more from the developing.
Which technologies did you work with?
So we worked on C, C++, okay, and then went in. We did a bit of Visual Basic also.
Right.
When I started the career, but then major part of it was C, C++, and then went into Java development aspects of it, right? So that's when my shift into program management happened. So I was like off the coding and then more into management part of it, Srilata.
So when you moved into program management, how was your transition?
So what came handy is my ability to manage things, and then attention to detail. Okay, if something is there that we need to track. I would like. I was very interested in tracking things and then bringing things to closure. That kind of came handy. And
And that's so pivotal as well.
Yes. So it was very, very necessary, because when you talk about a program, we talk about mass level programs coming together, converging at some point of time to deliver something unique for an organization.
Right.
Because of my ability to bring small things together and then creating a bigger picture out of it, and ease of working with the people around me, because basically I'm a very people-oriented person, because it's very important for me. It's not just a task there. We're talking about humans who are
Absolutely.
with me.
Absolutely.
So that came handy, because I nurture them as I went along. So when my management saw an opportunity as Vijaya can do this, and when the first time a program manager role opened up for Nokia in Bangalore, in the from the Symbian OS side, because that's where the majority of the Nokia, one part of Nokia hands assets were developed based on Symbian OS.
Okay.
When that opportunity was opened, I was kind of given an opportunity. I mean, of course, we went through entry process,
Sure.
everything internally. So just to summarize, how do you manage things, how you track things, how you collaborate with people, how do you do the stakeholder management.
Those
I think
are
all
key.
these things are key for me to land into my first role as a program manager.
You also mentioned project management. You worked on the role of project management. Can you please explain that?
They were also at the when you talk about a program, we're talking about, let's say, pick up a Nokia handsets itself, because that's where my majority of my schooling and my career happened from Nokia. So I'm very passionate about Nokia, and whenever I go, I speak about the culture I picked up as a professional from Nokia. So when you talk about project management, we're talking about only a part of that handset, right? It could be anything, not getting into dwelling into details of the technology part of it. So you have people that you need to manage, you have to schedule, you need to you need to keep track of, identify the dependencies, make sure this the stakeholders of the project are being informed. How well do you manage those budgets and everything? So these things are these things are also there in the program management,
Right.
but that is larger scale.
Okay.
So if you look at the major difference between these two would be a program will have a combination of different projects running together to make sure that we deliver a program per se. For example, Nokia and Asia, that was one of the programs I worked on.
Okay.
Sri Lanka, yeah.
So when you're talking about program management and project management, what is the essential difference, so to speak?
I would rather say it's more on the scale of operations that we need to perform. The amount of stakeholder management that you need to do. It might be, in case of a project, it might be within a given PU level. But if you look at program management, it will go length and breadth of the organization sometime.
So do they also do they also closely work with customers?
Depends upon the organizations, right? But in majority of the organizations, we do not really have a direct interaction with our customers. We have our markets who take care of them. They seek the feedback on the programs that we are delivering. They'll talk to the customers, these markets, our customer representatives.
You mean the sales team?
Sales teams, the sales and marketing teams. They manage those expectations for our customers. We take their input and then see what is that we need to include as part of the product development, which is a core part of the project or program management, and then take it forward. So majority of the development activities and what you do with the product are part of these two streams.
So again, to reiterate my earlier question, for the benefit of our audience, can you please redefine what is project management, what is product management, and what is program management?
Right. So a project, imagine that as today's activity. We have a specific time period available. It's unique for us. Okay, we've scheduled an hour of session, saying that we have our cameraman and then our a team who has set up everything, organized everything for us. A project comes with a specific time period, saying that we have certain amount of resources available. This is an objective that we need to achieve, and we need one person to come and track this to make sure all these things that are stitched together to make sure we deliver what we want to do. Generally, that is a scale. That is what a project management is. Okay. You can add any kind of objectives that you want to get onto it. When you go to a program management, a similar kind of projects that you need to execute to deliver something much more global. If you look at the TOY awards that we attended, right? It's kind of a program for them, because they need to make sure everything is in scene, taken together, and it's a very long process to make sure the nominations are reaching to us, the awardees are coming there, and then the presenters are there. We have multiple themes and everything that need to be done,
and there should be no hitches whatsoever.
Yes, end of the day we want to run it smooth, executable, right? So take that as a program, but it will have multiple things coming together with a specific set of activities, right? In terms of product management, basically product management tells you that why am I doing what I'm doing. Okay, this is very specific, what value I'm actually giving to an end customer, because I don't want to develop something which is not used for anybody else, right? And the why part of it, if you look at the Simon Sinek's golden circle, the why part of it, which is core of anything, is what product management deals about. Why am I doing what am I doing? How am I doing? And what is the exterior circle part of it, right? So the what part of it is, you can take it as a project management, because
what is the end result?
End result, right?
Okay.
And how do I achieve it, right? So in order to make to all these things kind of converge at some point of time, but then one cannot exist without other. My why is clear, but how I do it, what I do it. So all these, if you look from project to program management part of it, these things take care of why I'm doing what I'm doing. How
So
I
you
do
mean
it,
to
what
say
I do it.
concept to the end result?
End result, right? So one is the ideation. Think about there's a need that is available. How do we resolve? How do we convert that need into an opportunity and into a business value and revenue? All these things will be visualized. But then, to make sure that the idea is getting turned into something tangible that will be used, all these three functions should come together.
Sure.
Without one cannot exist without the other part of it. However, a clear definition of what role is what and what function is what has to be there, so that we're not really stepping into something else and confusing ourselves.
Sure.
Hence the definition should be very clear.
Sure. You've been a product manager since how long?
It's been a product manager since 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And how's your transition from program and oblique project management to product management?
Until 4-5 years back, I was a program manager. Then I started thinking, okay, now in the golden circle, I did what, and then how. I was very curious to know why. Yeah, I was very curious to know why it is important. Then I thought, okay, so let me try to understand the why part of it, because this is always somebody is using our everything. It's not just the schedules and everything. It's not just the internal alignment of the stakeholders. There is something that's really driving what we are doing.
Sure.
So then I started as a product owner. I mean, that's one step to moving into a product manager. Then I did some courses on my own, spoke with people, leaders who are in the product management area, everything. But then I was preparing myself with mock-up interviews and everything, because end of the day, I know that is a path I wanted to do, because I want to know what my why, right?
Sure.
Why I'm doing what I'm doing. It kind of 3 years back, I really got an opportunity to pick up the role that I'm doing right now. So I think the transition all happened smoothly because of the preparation that really went behind that.
Sure. You're also an active member of Product Leaders Forum. So can you please explain what is Product Leaders Forum and how does one get into it, and what Product Leaders Forum is doing?
Okay, so I was associated with them for the last 2 years as an attendee, and I was also one of the panelists last year, Srilata, and this year I also moderated one of the sessions. So their intention is to develop as many product managers as possible, and that's a very noble thought to come through. They have series of events they organize across India. They bring in people to encourage product managers to come together, learn from each other, share their ideas and thoughts and everything, create and develop that network. Okay, and during this time we get to hear from lots of leaders from different organizations coming together, what innovative things that those product managers doing there, the frameworks they're using there, and it's a very informative thing that to be part of that association. And then I'm happy to be associated with them in whatever role I'm doing, and I wanted to be actively involved with them from next year onwards. How to get involved? I mean, you can follow them on LinkedIn, Product Leader Forum, and then you'll get to see the notifications, register, participate. They're covering major cities, Sridhar, as you are aware. So just attend one, then build your network. Building a network is not just taking; it's giving back. I think that's very, very crucial for us, because unless you explain or share with others what you know, you don't know how much you don't know. That's very important, and it is a great opportunity for the organizers of PLF to giving that platform for all of us. And that's where we actually met. And
Absolutely.
Yes, right? So,
in fact, Abhilash is doing a lot of nice work. He's educating, going to colleges and educating them about product leaders, forum and product management as well. So that is another area where students can learn about product management. Because as a student, of course, I finished it some 25 years back. Even today, when I'm teaching students, they do not know what is product management. So it is a forum where they can learn from leaders like you and Abhilash and many others. They also understand what is product management and how can they build their career. Having said that, how does one build their career? Let's say an engineering student or a graduate, a degree, BCom, BSc, etc., or a management student. How does he or she get into product management? Question one. And what is the career path in product management?
Anybody can do anything they want to do, provided they have interest and a wish to pursue their passion, right? in case of engineering students, or if you look at an MBA, the end of the day, what you need to understand is you should have the empathetic to know what the problem is, because you just can't brush saying that, hey, I don't understand. Just because we don't understand doesn't mean the problem doesn't exist.
Sure.
Right? So a problem for somebody could be an opportunity for us, and we need to be
Well said.
mindful about it. Having said that, we need to see this involves a bit of understanding of marketing research. What market is saying, what is your customer, talk to people, right, and make an attempt to understand what their problems are. You may not be able to provide a solution right away. No, you need to constantly revisiting these whys. Why are they saying this? Why they're asking? Because unless you ask these whys without hesitation, you will not be able to end up creating a product. Second thing, when you're trying to define a product, make sure it's simple to use. We don't want complex things. Okay, you should have that kind of mindset, right? Because just because I love to solve a problem doesn't mean we have to create multiple them, right? It has to be simple.
Yeah.
So
For the layman to understand.
Yes, for a layman to understand. So go and then understand your knowledge about market analysis. You need not be a market researcher for it, but at least understand what a market is saying. Skills to understand what a market research is presented there. You don't have to go and then do the research, because lots of organizations available there. Understand what they're. See how would you able to do. I understand the ability to correlate the data that is presented to you. Is it really a problem, or is it just a noise? It could be anything, because each problem has a value that is associated with it. What value would you want to take that at, right? You don't have to jump onto it. And then I would rather also suggest people to go and attend courses. There are multiple courses. I mean, Edura, or they go to Coursera, everywhere there are multiple things available. Thorough about it, understand the vocabulary part of it, right? I mean, the reason why we need to have a common vocabulary is because my black and your black should be same. It's not like, oh, I think my black is green, right? So we need to have that vocabulary understanding part of it. And it's easy for us to communicate for us part of it.
To be in sync.
To be in sync. Reach out to the product managers, learn from them and what they're trying to say and what their experiences are, how to go about it, right? So once you have these things in, opportunities will anyway come to some point of time. Be patient and not just saying that, hey, it did not happen, because for me it took 5 years.
Sure.
It was not easy.
Absolutely.
But then, sometimes what you want may not come at your
beck and call.
Yes. When it comes, have patience, go for that. Sometimes you need to step down to take, step down to go step up, right? It's very, very important for you to move forward. Sometimes you go back also.
In terms of designation and salary is also okay.
Yes, okay. Because that's what I said initially. You need to have that passion for what you wanted to do, right? And very important thing is, have a mentor for you, right? Mentor in that organization. And what I realized very late is that, having a coach who can train and then open up this opportunity in those areas is very, very important. And they will help you. We all will have inhibitions. What happens if I cannot communicate? What happens if I go and ask a question, etc., etc.? Go through these coaching sessions. They're very, very important. I mean, you need not have an elaborate extension one, at least for you to know what you're really passionate about. So all these things came handy for me. It might be different for somebody else, Srilata.
But also, like we earlier spoke about, Product Leaders Forum is a great forum where youngsters who don't have understanding of product development can get into it. They not only attend these programs, but they can also interact with leaders like you and Abhilash and Arun and all of them, and learn a lot from them. Like you rightly said, yes, they can get connected with all these leaders and also learn a lot from them. See, the LinkedIn is a great platform, but it's not just becoming a lion or becoming a tiger. You please interact with these people, not having 20,000 as your followers or connects, but it's important to connect with them. My next question to you, Vijaya, is when we spoke about companies and youngsters wanting to get into the careers as project management or product development, what is the career path? When they start off, question one is, what is the career path? Let's say when I'm starting off as a executive or a software developer, what is the career path? Second is, if I don't understand ABC of technology, I'm a management student, can I still become a product manager?
I would say a technical know-how is important, because product management role is a combination of value to your customer, the business, and the technology, how we are developing it. Okay, technical.
So at least ground knowledge you
Yes,
should have.
ground knowledge you need to have. Even if you don't have, an attitude to learn should be there.
Okay.
For example, right, I moved from mobiles to automobiles to lighting. It's all new for me, and my only thing that I carried with me all along is that I want and I'm willing to learn, right? So these attitude that you need to carry all the times, okay? In terms of career path, in terms of career path for project and program, I would treat them, both of them, as one, okay? Because that's where I've come from, right? Like I said, that journey is covered and this is what I've done, this is how it helped, right? And it may or may not be the same for somebody else who want to going into that. But in case of person who's coming from the technical side, for example, developer, they can be a technical person, or they might want to explore something on the business analyst side. Okay, that's because you'll understand how do you do the analysis of the data that's coming through you, right? And then the availability of opportunity is also important, right? We cannot really say this is what a career path that you want to choose. This is how we want to do, because I know our technical, because I'm new to this domain, but then if you look at my colleagues who are in this domain for years together, the amount of knowledge they've gained, although they are not a product managers, is immense. Huge respect to them, because they developed it over a period of time.
Right.
Okay, so there are technical, there are architects, there are system architects, everybody, and experts as well. The amount of knowledge I gain from talking to them is like immense, and then they are like my support system in the organization right now. So for me to clearly say this is what the career path that is available for you, if you ask me, I do not really have a career path saying that step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You need to be agile enough to pick up what's coming your way, but prepared for it.
Right.
Be ready to handle it. If not in this organization, you'll be somewhere else. Keep your connections open, but keep your interest, because sometimes things don't, we might drop it. But then again, you need to push yourself up and stay floating there to make sure that, when that comes, that pick it up.
Right.
So that's
adding to what Vijay just said is, you may not be a hardcore C++ coder or a Java coder. You don't have to necessarily be software developer, so to speak. But if you understand technology, at least in the ground level, you can definitely get into product management. Another question that you earlier spoke about is you like nurturing people. Today in the society we live in, especially in the 21st century, youngsters are succumbing to pressure. Since you have mentioned you have clearly nurtured youngsters, nurtured your team, how do you deal with question one is, how do you deal with nurturing, and what do you do with nurturing teams? Because you should allow them to scale up. It's not important you to be a leader, but you should allow them to scale up as well, and I'm sure you'll agree with it. The second is, what is your answer, or how do you think youngsters should not succumb to pressure?
It's a very different question, especially with our Gen Zs and
millennials,
right? So in terms of nurturing, right, my point is that I walk the talk and then go ahead. I don't really go and then say, guys, you should do like this. They don't like it.
Absolutely.
They don't have that mindset. They're not like us. They're different. They're differently raised, and then, taken.
Besides that, I think as a leader, it's important to walk the talk.
Yeah.
If I expect my team to come at 10 o'clock, I should be there at 10 o'clock.
Right.
I shouldn't walk in at 11:30 and ask my team to come at 10.
Exactly. So what happens is, what you say doesn't matter, because people observe how you do it. Okay? Focus on that. You don't have to go and then say, hey, this is what I'm doing, you should do this. No. But what happens, right? What I've seen all the years is, when I go and I also take care of the presentations and how do you manage things, etc. How do you manage stress also? One thing I passionately talk about because of my own experience rather. So when I go and tell them, I just tell them, hey, let's do this, and make sure it has to be you need to be friends with them. You can't be a manager.
Right.
Okay, what we saw with our managers, it doesn't work with this age. Okay,
the millennials,
right? Millennials. So what you need to do is, you just can be friends with them and just let them be there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because when I join an organization or move into another team, I say the designation what I hold is on paper. You and I are friends.
Yeah.
So thereby I break the wall.
Yes.
So they have come and spoken to me about the boyfriend's mother-in-law and all. Probably it's very irritating. Probably I switch off. But then they know that I am approachable, and that's very important.
Yes. And what I feel is that they just need somebody to listen to what they're talking about.
He just
Listen to
went
them.
out.
Went out, and then they might come and ask things saying that. So when you're advising, just be mindful about what advices you're giving to them, right? On the second part of how to manage stress them, right? I just really tell them that why they shouldn't be really stressed out. So I kind of do small workshops with them as part of how to manage stress at work. And it's a collaborative way. I don't really do a presentations or everything. We do a collaborative way of doing it. My friends who are also trainers, I take inputs from them.
Sure.
Yeah, how do I manage this set of new generation colleagues who are coming on board? How do you manage that? We do it in a more collaborative way. That's really effective. And I also tell them my own examples onto it.
Sure.
Make it more lively for them. Don't make it so very direct. They don't like directions. They don't like orders, because the moment it comes through, it kind of feels, oh no, why is she telling this, right? So just leave it there. And
In fact, storytelling is much more important.
very important. So bring in the storytelling. It's very, very important, and then they enjoy it, and then you just make it more relatable. It's the conversations that you have with them need not be related to work. It's same way as selling the product, right? I can tell how my product is going to help you. I will leave it there, but I will not pursue them to buy it. It's
Right.
They should connect with the emotion, and if they like it, they'll come and buy it. Like the same thing with anybody else.
Right. I will also add what is important is not just to manage teams or to say, hey, you haven't delivered, you have delivered, but to find out what is going wrong. This guy or this girl has got the capacity, she's got the capabilities, but she's not able to deliver. What is the reason? So go 5 steps backwards and sit with him as a one-to-one, not as a manager and a team member, but as a friend, as a colleague, and tell him that you can do so many things. Like, for example, I've told my colleagues or my team members, what is SWOT analysis? Write down your strengths and write down your, I don't like to call it weakness, I like to call it developmental areas. Some of them have written just 20 strengths, but 3 weaknesses. So I sit with them and find out, is it only 3? It could be more. So then they start writing 40, 50 weaknesses. And I said, that is where you need to start developing. So I'm sure you must have done something as well like that.
So all the while, I haven't invested time on the SWOT analysis per se, because although I had a team members part of it, I was always been a individual contributor most of my as a project or program manager. Most of the time I was an individual contributor. The nurturing part of it, because I was interested to work with them, more out of interest than more of a responsibility for me, right? So I will help them how to communicate, because they don't like to talk to each other.
Right.
You sit at a table, you and your colleagues are having lunch, and you're talking, but then when you look at the table right next to you with the millennials, they're just busy. When they're eating, they have mobiles on. They don't talk to each other.
True.
Right? So that's a very surprising thing. So what I always tell them, talk. It's important. That's one thing that differentiates us from the rest of the other species. How you talk, how you go about managing things, etc. It's more out of interest, not from a manager to a team members per se.
Right.
Yes. So
I will also add to what Vijaya just said is, don't just work on the roles that is defined to you. Go 2 steps or 5 steps beyond the role that is being mentioned to you. For example, you can take up training. You don't have to become a trainer, but just take, if you have 5 colleagues as your own team members, start teaching them communication skills. If your English is very good, or body language, or presentation skills, which you're very good at, or something like that, those things are very important. And I, as a leader, for want of better words, when I've had my teams, I've done the SWOT analysis. B is this used to be a one team member called Vishwa. He was very good. Attitude was good. Time management was good. He used to come at 9:30 and stay till 8:30 every day. His wife used to leave at 6:30, but he used to stay back till 8:30. But his deliverables were very bad. His attitude was good. but deliverables were very bad. So I also made him sit and do to-do list. Write down what is your to-do list for the day and tick it off. And don't spend too much of time unnecessarily. So these things has helped teams, perform better. So what do you envisage for the future as a product manager and as an individual?
In terms of product management, I just started with the likeness. I really love what I'm doing right now because that's one of my dream jobs I ever wanted to pursue. I will continue on to this, maybe doing global roles, understanding more of lighting because light is energy and light is everything, right? Without light, there is no hope, is how I see it. And continue with the lighting for now is what I'm thinking, and then see, of course, leading in the global roles going forward, and then
And also be part of product leaders forums and etc.
yeah, of course. I mean, from next year onwards, I'm really looking for active participation, Srilata. And then look apart from the global roles, and I also want to be more customer-centric, focused roles is what I'm talking about because we have somebody who's taking that gap, bridging that gap right now. Maybe I want to move much more closer to the customers and then see what value I can bring to them and to our organization I'm working on right now. In terms of individually, like you said, we taking from community is not sufficient. We should also give it back, right? Contribute to the product management, see where I can fill the gaps, and then continue nurturing those who are interested to be nurtured, right? It is not something that we can force upon. So that's one thing I'm keen to take up in the coming years.
So do you also plan to go to colleges and conduct these forums?
I haven't thought that about it, but if something coming up in the future, I'll have to think through, but not in the agenda at the moment.
Sure. Vijaya, we were discussing about project management, product management. What is the role of a delivery leader? Is it same or what is the difference?
So in case of a delivery leader, they are end-to-end responsible of how a customer ask is getting delivered. You typically see them in services organizations, Srilata. But in case of product management, right, we're actually, that is a step ahead compared to delivery because where the actual development happens. The scope is defined, requirements are defined, the timelines, everything is defined. That's when, until then, where the product manager's role and the delivery leads will take care of it, right? But in case of product organizations, the name might be something entirely different. But if you ask me, it might be a business leader who's taking care of a product development side part of it, but a delivery lead responsibility is responsible for a product development aspect of it, whereas a project manager is, a step ahead of that, saying that, hey, this is what we need to do. The whys are clearly different. This is a business value you're going to derive out of it. Now, please help with the engineering teams coming in to take care of it. That's the primary difference between these two roles.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What's the difference between a service company and a product company? We have Microsoft, for example, it's a product company. Which are the services company, or rather, what is the difference between a service company and a product company?
So, in case of product companies, you have platforms that are defined for there, and then we have minimum customization that might be coming into picture, right? And we are very customer focused, and the time we go and do enough amount of market research, saying that, hey, if I develop this product and offer it to the product, what is the value I'm going to give it to the customers, and how am I going to manage my business resources and revenues and everything together? Okay. If you look at a services company, for example, TCS or Infosys, etc., they are developing things. Developing products very, very specific to a customer per se. Okay, and if you look at these two, well-defined process and everything, but the way we develop things, the approach that we take to things and how we manage things are slightly different.
Right. So when you mentioned about youngsters, how do you think youngsters can shape their career? Give me 3 important points or 3 important salient points how they can shape their career, whichever role they want to take, either HR or product manager. What do you think are the most important things which they can look at a career and have it more smooth sailing, so to speak?
Yeah. Advantage the youngsters have is they're very clear of what they want. Okay, and they have more opportunities compared to what we had in our earlier days, right? So they should really
explore those
opportunities. spent a little time um, going in detail into it, because touching on the surface never got you made you a sailor, right? I mean, you just
Right.
need to sail the ship and then venture out and then figure out what exactly the
Sure.
problems and everything. I think they need a little bit of patience.
Yeah, they
okay?
lack attention. The
Yeah.
attention span is very less.
They want to redeem themselves
Fast.
everything fast. Life is not about fast. It's not like a reel, it's like they
You
all
have to tread the path.
yeah, okay. And it's like I always say, Ekta Kapoor's K series, right? It's long, take your time to figure out what you really want and enjoy that part of it. First thing is have patience, develop that a bit. It's not like things can happen just like that, right? No, it will not. Have patience, develop that. You're not a minion. We are unique. We're all humans, species per se only, but we are not the same. But we don't want minions also, right? We want to be unique. For you to be unique from others, learn and collaborate. You don't have to compete, because those artificial intelligent machines are actually competing with you, and which we don't seems to be realizing. They're not catching up very fast with that. So
It's very important to upskill and reskill.
upskill and reskill, and then stay on with it, right? Third thing is, stress is an integral part of our life. Okay, manage it. It's very, very important that you learn how to manage it. You can't run away from it, because the more you run away, it's going to chase you.
Right.
Okay, manage that. Managing stress is very important. And fourth thing is, have your grounded with the place where you want to ground. Make sure it's the right place for you. Okay, have a right grounding place for you. Have a good family support. Have friends and family members. Everything. I mean, we think it's not important. End of the day, it's your
Family is
parents.
the most important. It's
It's
your
It is
backbone.
the most important thing for you. If you like it or don't like it, that's a different part of it. Without them, you're not existing. Just because
The family is your backbone. So
it's a backbone.
Yeah.
Don't ignore it, because without a backbone, you can't stand. It's important to realize it and appreciate it and go on. End of the day, choices are made, but try to learn from it and then move from there on.
what
Because,
made you take up yoga and meditation?
it all started during COVID times. Uh, I'm a social person, and it was important for me to really. We're all became online humans,
Virtual.
right? And virtual humans, and then at that point of time, due to health issues and everything, I had to. I was like kind of forced to take this approach. Rather, I would say that's what I say. Don't wait for things to force upon you. Be proactively identify what's right for you, and then go from there on. Right?
Sure.
That's important.
So I will also add to what you just said is it's very important to not just upskill and reskill. That is the most important thing, of course, but also to understand what your career is, what you want to do, and chase it with a single-minded devotion.
Yes.
Don't do it because Srilata is doing it, so I also want to copy. Or don't do it because Vijaya is liking it. Vijaya is a probable product manager, so I should be. She can be your inspiration, but you have to choose your own path. So we spoke about pressure. You specifically spoke about yoga and meditation as well. Whether it's youngsters or the manager, the head of CCD, Coffee Day, who committed suicide, I don't think you and I would even think about suicide. What do you have to say to them, and how does one navigate life irrespective of ups and downs?
Life is too precious.
And there will be ups and downs.
Yes, there'll be ups and downs. Even our lifeline is not straight, right? It's not ups
The
and downs.
ECG, you mean?
Yeah, the ECG is not up. It's not straight line. Ups and downs are part of life, right? Just don't give in. That's when your family as a backbone is going to be there supporting you. Okay.
Also, that shows your tenacity. The day you start saying, okay, this is part of life, ups and downs. Ups, you're very happy. When you're down, you're saying, oh, I want to commit suicide. That is what makes you the individual that you are. If you're able to surpass that down period, that makes you a great person.
Yeah, you learn a lot about it. You know how strong you are when you emerge. Like that's right. You hit, and then when you rise like a phoenix, that's when you know how strong and powerful you are, right? So the only thing I would like to conclude saying that maybe from my
Also,
side-
I will just add is the CCD, his wife, in just 1.5 years, she made it a huge profit. Why couldn't this man do? So I think these are some things. Okay, there will be periods when you're saying, "Oh my God, why is this happening?" But will you ask the same question? Oh my God, why is this happening when I got an award? You will never ask that.
No.
So why should quoting my sister when she got the Padma Shri? The next year she was detected with cancer. So her beautiful learning for all of us is, she said, I never asked, oh my God, why did I get a Padma Shri? So I don't have any right to ask, oh my God, why I got cancer. I think this is a learning for all of us. And that's a beautiful way of looking at life.
Yes.
So in conclusion, what would you like to add?
Either be inspired or be inspiring. Okay. And there is nothing to compete with anybody else, with oneself, right?
Nobody else is a competitor except you yourself.
Yeah, except you yourself. Just do good for yourself. Either that way you are inspiring somebody to look up, for saying that in case of trouble situations, they can look up to you and then say, okay,
Absolutely.
somebody navigated, let me give it a try.
Sure.
Life is too short to waste on anything else.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank
It
you.
was lovely talking to you, Vijaya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.